1981, I think I was listening to Michael Jackson's Beat It somewhere in that time frame. I'm not sure if it was out exactly yet, but in 1981, Randy Boyd, basically a one-man show working out of his garage, starts Boyd Stocks. This year will mark their 40th anniversary. They have stocks for shotguns, rifles, some accessories for the AR as well. And they have over 130,000 SKU numbers, which is just insane. So that's what we're gonna take a look at next, Boyd Stocks. So giving you a little bit of a background about how much stuff Boyd's makes. They have 255 gun brands, which is just insane. 1,200 models within those brands. That I just find immensely fascinating in of itself, being a person who wouldn't want to have a lot of SKUs, right? And have to keep track of that. So I can only imagine that admin person must be losing their mind. Not to mention, every week new models come out. So within a week or two, they are producing new models of those particular brands. Everything is hand sanded. There is human touch along the whole thing. Everything is inspected along the way. When you start to look at the coatings that are on these things, they are very hard. They're very hard to chip, and they're sealed. And that's especially important to people that go out in certain environments with their bolt gun or their shotgun, and they don't want their furniture ruined. So that sealant, and from what I've seen, especially after using it now for the last 6 months, is very hard. And I'm pretty harsh on most of my equipment. I don't really care whether I drop it or it gets banged around in the back of a truck or four-wheeler. And yeah, you might get dents in the wood and stuff like that, but that seal is still there. You can really see it's working hard to try to do its best to preserve it. Not exactly a gobstopper, obviously, but again, some really great custom work. There's 37 laminate layers that go into this. And just to kind of show you, this is the pump for a shotgun for a Remington 870. Let you kind of look at those lines so you can see it right here. And the amount of colors and different configurations that you can get is pretty astounding. This right here is a shotgun stock, which allows for the length of pull via this push button here and the cheek riser going up and down. And that's what we're going to talk about next, this being outfitted on a Remington 870. So one of the things that I really fancy nowadays is more traditional guns, like when you see a Remington 870 with the wood furniture on it. And I know we've kind of gone into the tactical black market side of the house, but to be able to dress your gun up a little bit, especially a traditional gun, is really kind of nice. One of the things that I'll tell you is if you get on their website, you're gonna spend like probably an hour at least looking through all the different color variances that they have and how it's going to look on your particular gun. So just to be able to take a gun, dress it up, or a bolt gun, I think it's a nice option to have. However, on a practicality side of the house, when it comes to more functionality, length of pull is really kind of a big deal. For those right now that a traditional length of pull stock on a normal, anything that you would buy on the market is too short for you, to have the ability to bump this out and give you that little bit of extra because you're 6'2", 6'4", you got big old banana hands, I think is a huge benefit. A lot of people do run traditionally bladed when they shoot a shotgun. I don't. I tend to square up. And when I square up, I don't need as much length of pull. The problem though is I also don't want to use stock. And I float somewhere between a normal length of pull and a used stock. So that becomes a little bit problematic. What do I mean by that? I typically take that stock and I send it out to somebody who cuts it custom for the length of pull that I want. For people that wear body armor, law enforcement agencies, things like that, to be able to manipulate your length of pull based on where you position the rear of that stock, I think is an important attribute as well. And it's not something that's done with wrenches, it's something that's done with the push of a button right here. And then at that point, you can collapse it in or extend it out. So to have that option, I think is a really big deal. Again, to be able to buy a stock and not have for me to have to send it off, I think there's a lot of value in that, and to get it set up exactly where I want it. You know, maybe you're wearing big coats that day or something like that, and you need to just go in just a notch or so. This stock will allow you to do it. Also, when we start getting into red dot optics, we know that normally this area right here works real good with our irons, meaning that when I go for that cheek weld, I can get a good proper cheek weld and see right through my irons where I need them. However, when we start raising up due to optics and we start getting higher and higher, you're going to want to raise that cheek weld as well and be able to control that. And there's not too many stocks on the market right now that allow you to not only control length of pull, but to also control your rise based on how high you needed to set that optic up. Because what's happening to most people is you put a red dot on your gun, and then shortly after that, you go from a cheek weld to a chin weld, and you're not going to shoot as accurate with the gun. So a lot of great options out there for Boyd's. This is just one of them. If you have, you know, like Tikas and Kimbers and other styles of bolt guns, other semi-auto shotguns, they've got them on their website. Go and check them out.